void.
Hello, YouTube. Boonheadshot here, bringing you a 13
Isn't it
City of
moves the fact
Threats.
when she tells us we're gonna learn the lesson every single time?
Hanging out with Pasta again, Elemental Shaman.
I gotta add that.
And getting right into it here. Big pull as a rogue. Throw all your cooldowns for this big pack. At this level, difficulty key, you're either alive or you're dead if you miss a mechanic. So
Ooh,
you can help the healer. When you get the disease thrown on you, you can cloak that off.
Yeah, you got PI though, so that doesn't count.
Oh, did he? I missed it.
Yeah, he's buddies the priest.
You're gonna see this neat little trick. As long as your DPS is
Oh
fast
god,
enough,
he's so close.
you can distract that patrol. After you get the second damage boost from the Shade Caller, shroud your friends through this part. You can also sap those ads there, the one closest to the wall, to make it through. Being in a group with both an elemental and an enhancement shaman,
Why didn't you let me get away first?
you will see
No time,
why
gotta
they are
bang.
on top.
Man, I'm here for it. Dumped that while I was still standing next to everybody.
Both specs of the shaman are very strong right now, and you're gonna see them really put on a show for you here as we get through this. If you get the orbs on this mechanic, it's best that you find a spot and stop moving and let everybody else get safe around you. After the orbs mechanic,
No battle res.
Oh,
there is a massive amount of damage that goes out. And as you can see here, it's no joke.
yikesies.
This is a cursed dungeon, sir.
It's really, I've never had any issues with it. I don't know what's going on.
Oh lord. My shroud's on cooldown.
We don't need it with the suit.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Take two. So as I was saying, if you have the orbs, try not to move. And after the orbs, make sure you're using feint. You can cloak this as well to help your healer.
For the what?
What's play the game?
And absolutely do not touch the purple goop, because it does like 4 or 5 million damage a second. So like you're just toast as soon as you touch it. Boss definitely did not like me on this one. So if you get the opportunity, try to open on the queen. I don't believe I do that here. Oh yeah, oh, I started there. So if you open on the queen, you don't got to worry about trying to reset your Deathstalker's mark with a vanish if you don't time it out right, or if you don't get lucky. Because at half health, he's no longer a target, and that does not give you a reset. The target has to die for you to get your reset. But I got lucky and switched it over on a Darkest Night as soon as I got it up. But ideally, you're pulling that little spider and the first queen at the same time. Open on queen. So you can kind of spread out here to try to figure out where they're hiding out in the crowd. We get lucky with this first one being really close. So. You should start throwing out your cooldowns here. They should be reset from the first boss by now. You pretty much want to be throwing them out on cooldown until you're getting closer to the boss. And pretty much always throw out Kingsbane. Even if the target's almost dead, if Kingsbane is coming back off a cooldown, you just want to use it to ensure that it's ready with Deathmark. If you end up holding it, you might get greedy, you might think there's an opportunity to make use of it with a pack in between the cooldowns, and you'll get everything off of alignment, and it takes you even longer to get it back on track, and that's missed opportunities for damage dealt. So the best word of advice is to throw Kingsbane when it comes off cooldown to ensure that it's always up for Deathmark every other Kingsbane. You see, once we start this fight, it'll get thrown out. Oh, I lied. I held it. So yeah, don't do that. Throw your Kingsbane out as best as you can. I think that was only like a 20-second difference, and would have made those 20 seconds back up as we drove over to the next Eye of the Queen to kill. So it could be cooling right here where there's downtime. So that's a mistake. Also be wary of the beetle patrol that can run around this little courtyard here. It can be chilling to the right. The timing on this is awful.
Yeah.
We can't get around him, and we have to wait for the patrol to let us pass. I go this way to see if it's on the left. It's not, so we know it's somewhere over here. Alright, so this boss, there are some ways that you can make it a little easier on yourself. As a rogue, one of them will throw like an ice dagger at you. You'll get a blue arrow over your head. You can feint that. You can cloak the damage that it comes out. It'll take you down pretty low. So that's something to be watching. They do a charge. You'll see like a little blue turquoise ground effect where they're going to be charging to. If you plant yourself, if the entire party plants themselves on the wall out here, instead of them charging, they just kind of bounce backwards a little bit, and you can keep them grouped together longer for longer cleave and bringing them down faster. So we'll attempt it here, and then after that, they reset over there on that one side of the arena. So here's that arrow with the ice dagger, and you can see how it almost killed me without cloak up. So that one's pretty rough to get through. Make sure you've got your defensives ready, both Crimson Vial and Feint. But here we are trying to cheese that mechanic. We do a pretty good job there. Your best time to vanish and reapply bleeds is after they teleport over and group back up for the tank right here. After the purple ground effects and the ice dagger, you see that white circle that's on the ground. You want to make sure you're soaking in that. Spreads damage against evenly against everybody that's in it, so that helps keep everybody alive. Other than that, this fight's just a big rinse and repeat. So there's those phase where they phase again, but we got them to bounce that first time, and then afterwards it kind of gets a little screwy. If you can get them close to a wall to abuse that mechanic, go for it every time. So there you see Cloak go out. I did not hold Cloak that time because the first one got me so close, and I was worried about whether or not the healer had any cooldowns to get me going or top me back off. So Cloak went out there just to save the healer stress. Pretty good execution of abusing that mechanic there into the wall. So depending on the tank, there's a couple different ways you can deal with these mobs coming up. Some tanks like to take them behind the stairs, like you're seeing here. This tank instead just groups them all up because he's a prop paladin, and we don't have to worry about trying to line of sight. But some tanks will line of sight behind the stairs and ask for you to follow. Very big pull, very fun pull. It can become difficult to decide how many bleeds you need to have up. If you ever sim any of it, the simulations will tell you to put as many bleeds up as you can. But in doing so, you have to ask yourself whether or not the time spent doing that is DPS loss from getting out more Envenoms. So there's a fine line, and I will always say to get at least 5 ruptures out when you've got big packs like this. When you kill your priority target in a large pack like that, and you switch to the next one, unless you are unless you have something focused, like a focused target already that you know has a lot of health, the next ad you grab may or may not have a rupture on it, depending on how many you threw out in the beginning. That's lost time from building combo points to get a rupture going, to then put caustic spatter on that target that you lost out on with just Fan of Knives and Envenom. So my rule of thumb is 5 ruptures. But going into this massive, insane pull here, we grabbed the Venom Beetle along with the pack. You can use Cloak to stop the damage that comes out whenever the swirl mechanic happens from him, as well as Feint. So both Feint and Cloak happen there.
That was big.
It's fun though.
Yeah. I'm on the star? I'm on star.
There is some pretty cool cheese that you can throw at this boss coming up. For the second round of orbs that come out, you can use sprint and run around and grab at least 3, and then use cloak at the same time the AoE comes out. That helps the entire party with not having to try to catch the orbs, and it helps the healer with not having to heal the massive amounts of shield that pops up. So in this fight, you want to, at the very least, save your cloak for when he does his AoE pulse. So there I've gotten 2, I just got 3, and I immediately cloak. It is a massive help to the healer and the party if you can pull that off. Remember, you want to be saving it for the second round of orbs that come out. Not the first round, that's too early. After you've used cloak, only grab 1 or 2. Because you are pretty squishy after the cloak goes off. 2-minute cooldowns are back. You saw Vanish go out. If the damage is not there, you will have your cloak back in time for the third AoE that comes out. But I think we drop him right whenever he starts casting. So you can look at the damage meters and get humbled by just how powerful shamans are.
Not bad at all.
Not terrible.
Both of these ads teach you about the mechanics coming up with the boss fight. They both do one thing and then the boss does them both. This fight is all about being mobile and paying attention to the orbs that will whip around the room at you. You have to get away from the boss when that circle comes around them. Add spawn that you have to kill. You have to stack up for the weave that roots you into place, and then that's a DPS race to kill the weave before the orbs start whipping around the room and hit you when you're rooted. Lots of checks in this fight as it plays out. You can cloak that root to get out of it, but I try to save it for emergencies. If I'm low on health and either that weave is coming or the big AoE pulse is coming for those beetles. Be watching your feet at all times on this one. The purple swirls are when those orbs start moving. They move from their current position to the new position, colliding with anything in their way on their way to their new position.
Dude, I can't keep up with you guys.
Big mistake there. Didn't see the orb coming into the barrier. Waited for those orbs to get off the ground before accepting the battle res. If you accept a battle res and the orb is on top of it, you will instantly get deleted again. So be mindful of where your battle res is coming up at. And down she went, guys. Got to
One
clean
more
up
thing.
these quick little ads right here, and it's a wrap on 13 City of Threads. I'll try to get a couple more timed here, but we are getting towards the end of Season 1. Be sure to stop by the streams in the mornings with raids on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Rest, man.